You've got a business. You've got a passion. We've got a place to share it. Join us on Let's Talk Spokane.
Closer, come over and peer inside your smart design. From inspired to the buyers, the stories of them all. Let's talk of what we're seeing. Let's talk of we're a dream killer. This town's got what we're needing. Let's talk of Spokane, everyone.
Let's Talk Spokane, presented by Washington Trust Bank.
Welcome back. Here's something we thought you really would enjoy.
Talk to him.
Hi, how are you? Are you my guest? Huh? Can you shake hands? Yeah. Yeah. We have kind of a different approach right now. Some folks from iGuard. It's Nick and Jacqueline
Lungu.
Lungu. Mm-hmm. You're sure of that?
Yes.
Is that the last name? Is that?
I go by whatever she says.
Oh, you've learned. You've learned. How did you get into the dog training business? Because you've been doing this for a little while, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably majority of my life. It's just always been my passion. I don't think I got into it. It kind of got me into it.
Okay. Tell me about when it started.
When I was tall enough to walk under this table.
Okay.
I was just a kid growing up in Europe. It's just always been some kind of a weird connection to the dogs.
And so they follow your instructions?
Not always. Sometimes I have to follow theirs.
Does he follow all of your instructions?
No.
No, okay. Some more training involved here, right? What makes what you do with dogs different than the traditional dog trainer?
Let me take that. We have a different approach. We find a way to communicate with the dog. We don't force the dog or make the dog do anything that we want them to do. We find a way to get them to work for us out of the willingness and the ability to please us.
So they want to do it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Nick really, I usually tell a lot of people that it truly is a gift because he has a way of getting into the dog's mind and understanding what the dog is thinking, and who knows what happened in the dog's past, whether
Yes.
it was a negative thing or a positive thing.
Right.
But Nick figures out what the dog is actually processing and then gets it to, because every dog is different, just like, every kid is different. So you don't discipline all your kids the same way, or you don't raise your kids all the exact same way, and it's the same with dogs. They all have different personalities and different ways of doing things. So Nick gets into the dog's head to understand why, and then how to get the dog to modify the behavior.
Now, when you married, did you know you were walking into this?
I had a pretty good idea.
Okay. And is this something you came in willingly?
Yeah, Nick has the passion for the dog side of things.
Okay.
And I have more of the business mindset.
Business side, okay.
I have a degree in business and marketing, and and I have an MBA. So he handles most of the dog stuff, and I have recently gotten my foot into the training side,
Okay.
but and then I do most of the business side of
Now,
our
do you
stuff.
feature only certain kinds of dogs, and what kind of different trainings do you do?
Well, we train all breeds for all needs.
Okay.
But we raise specifically German Shepherds.
Okay.
So we breed only German Shepherds, West German show line German Shepherds.
Okay. Now, when you say you do that, how many at a time? Is it just a couple, or do you have a?
We have a few dogs in our breeding program, so we have an average 4 to 6 litters a year.
Oh, wow. Okay. And you find a market for that?
Yeah,
Or they find
there's
you.
definitely a market, and you're
Yeah.
right, they find us, correct.
Yes. So tell me about the different kinds of training, because my guess is that depending on the breed of dog and the end result of what people are looking for, what things do you look at?
Well, training, we do what we're asked to do. So the clients come to us and ask for certain behavior. Mostly it's behavior modification. The main training we do, we do Schützen training as a sport that we compete in, but majority of our training is behavior modification. I would say that my specialty is dogs that have already gone to a handful of other trainers and nobody was able to help them.
And then families dealing with a naughty child, if you will.
Correct.
Yeah, problem solving.
Yes. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. What makes you different from other breeders?
From other breeders, I believe we provide a product that is second to none. We provide a superior German Shepherd dog, and the service behind it is, again, one of a kind. We are the only breeder that I know of in the United States that provide a lifetime guarantee on our dogs.
Lifetime guarantee.
Correct.
Tell me about that.
It means
I've never heard that around this.
Sure. If you purchased a dog from us and you have any, whether it's a health issue or a temperament, or if you're just simply not happy with the dog, we will replace the dog for you.
So how do people normally find you? I mean, is it within the industry that people know what you do? Or, I mean, it seems like a narrow market in terms of...
Well, as far as the training, a lot of it is word of mouth.
Okay.
We...
Satisfied customers.
Yeah. And then, for breeding, we have a website, that people, we send puppies all over the United States.
Do you really?
We ship them, yeah. One thing I was going to say, though, about our breeding and how we're a little bit different from pretty much any other breeder that we know of is that all of our females don't live at our house. So our females are fostered out to other homes. So they live in a family, they have a very full and complete life, and then when they go into heat, then they come back to our home and they get bred, and then they go and live with their family again. And then about 10 to 12 days before they're gonna whelp their litter, they come home, they come back to our house, whelp the litter, the puppies are with mom for about 8 weeks, and then they go back to their foster family and live life. So when you come to our facility, you're never going to see a big line of German Shepherds in kennels. We have a few dogs at our home, that live in our house and protect our kids and our family and stuff like that. But you're never going to come to our house and find a huge row of dogs.
That's interesting.
I think that because we're trainers and breeders, that's why Nick always, his biggest thing is socialization. You'll have a well-trained dog if you follow his advice and you socialize your animal.
And get along with families and all of that.
Yeah, and so, because of that philosophy that we have, we feel it's very important to make sure that our own dogs are very well socialized and in families and with other people and stuff like that.
Now, how many do you have, excuse the expression, farmed out and in homes? I mean, you're talking about a half dozen, a dozen?
Over a dozen dogs.
Really?
And the other thing, too, is all our dogs, every single litter is raised inside our home. It's not in our garage or in the backyard, somewhere in a shed. They're all raised inside our home with our children. I mean, our kids will be handling puppies literally that are 5 minutes old. They're right there with them. And the other thing that sets us apart is we don't just sell you a puppy. We want to match the right puppy to your lifestyle and personality. So that is the other, I think, biggest factor that sets us apart is the fact that we match temperaments.
How do you do that?
Ever start your day thinking, this is going to be a great day, only to discover that life had something unpredictable in store? Here at One, we don't want you to have to deal with life's challenges all by yourself. Sometimes things get tough. When that happens, doing life together can really make it a lot easier. If you're tired of doing life alone, come to One. Let's do life together.
We want to match the right puppy to your lifestyle and personality. So that is the other, I think, biggest factor that sets us apart is the fact that we match temperaments.
How do you do that?
That's my job as a trainer. I read the puppy. I really make notes. Our puppies are identified from the second they're born with ribbons, different color ribbons. And we keep track of their weight and temperament from the day they're born. So we keep track of how loud they were, how squirmy they were, at birth.
Sure.
And then we keep track of that behavior as they're maturing into a 6 to 7
So then someone comes in and you can then match based on talking with them or what they're looking for, what their family situation may be like. There may be some dogs that aren't best for young families and so forth. And
whether somebody's really, really active or they have small kids or they're older and they just want kind of a companion.
Sure.
Nick is really good about spending, for the first 8 weeks that they're there, it's an incredible amount of time that he spends with those puppies, analyzing how they react to things, how they interact with each other, how they are with the mama dog, all that kind of stuff.
You have a service, the iGuard. What is Tell me about that. What does that mean?
Yeah, and that's a good question, actually, Ken. A lot of people say, well, that guy breeds guard dogs, and, or they'll say, we've heard about you, but we didn't know what you actually did because we thought you only raised guard dogs. And the reason I Guard International got its name is I is the German Shepherd.
Okay.
It's I, the German Shepherd. Guard it's a protection dog. Okay, that's what a German Shepherd's known for.
Right.
And international, it's pretty obvious. It's all over the world. So that's why we came up with the name. So we don't just raise guard dogs. As a matter of fact, a guard dog and a protection dog is a totally different scenario situation.
Right.
But protection dog is a dog that is capable of being around children. I mean, our dogs that are protection trained will go to the grocery store with Jacqueline, and they will hang out in the back of her SUV and go to the park with our 3 young kids and run around the house when the kids have other friends over for sleepovers. They're a stable part of our family. It's like having a bodyguard around.
Sure.
Just because he's there and is able to take care of a situation, if a threat arises, doesn't mean he's going to walk around with the gun drawn and letting everybody know that he's tough.
You're teaching dogs to pull guns? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, and then a guard dog is literally what it says, that they're guarding a facility or...
Correct. Yeah, and that's the thing that people don't realize very much, Ken. People will call and say, we want a guard dog, and so I'm going, no way, you don't want a guard dog, because those dogs cannot determine the difference between normal and aggressive behavior, and therefore they will constantly react in an aggressive manner.
I understand that you had a client that paid $100,000 for a guard dog. Tell me about that.
Not quite, but close. Yes, we had a client out of Scottsdale, Arizona, that has purchased a protection dog from us.
Protection dog.
Correct. And this is the type of dog, again, that I just mentioned. This is a dog that goes everywhere they go, drives in the back of their Mercedes-Benz and their Porsche and in their golf cart at the golf resorts there, and is just a normal part of everyday life, and it greets people and licks their hand and says hello.
But when needed, could act and protect that person, right?
Absolutely.
Or that family.
Literally like a light switch.
Interesting.
The dog understands the difference between normal and aggressive behavior. So that's, teaching a dog to not be on all the time is really, really important, because it has to know, okay, this is a threat, but this is just everyday life. And when the dog recognizes that aggressive or unusual or weird behavior, that's when it literally is like a light switch. That dog turns on and will alert its owners, and is obviously a huge deterrent for the person.
So the dog is going to see it probably before the person that owns the dog or is with. That's interesting. That really is interesting. Now, your customers are not just the high rollers, if you will, but for all families, right?
Absolutely. Our clients range from just an average family to high execs, CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies.
Wow. Wow. Absolutely fascinating. You have a website. People can go and learn more information. I would suggest to our viewers that they do that. And Jacqueline and Nick, I was so careful to be sure I said Jacqueline. Thank you for coming today and being part of Let's Talk.
Come over and peer inside your smart design.